nothing but love. I'd like to begin today's defense. For many of us, we're sort of strangers to Harold, and maybe begin by going around the room a little bit and introducing ourselves and introducing our guests. Please introduce yourselves. Our guests who are here, we really are deeply appreciative that you've made time in your day to come here and to come to Auburn University and join us in this wonderful day. So thank you. I'm Dr. Keith Aberg. I'm an associate professor here in the department, and
Dr. Jennifer Brooks, associate professor and director of graduate studies.
Dr. Austin McCoy, I'm a professor here in the history department and teach African American history and U.S. history.
David Carter, a professor in the history department, also teach African American history and modern U.S. history.
Dr. Sarah Hamilton, I'm an associate professor here in the department and I do environmental history.
Dr. Alan Meyer, associate professor here in the department, and I teach history of aviation, race, and gender.
My name is Jarvis Elston. I'm a good friend of Mr. Franklin. He was I also instruct at Talladega College, and we're fraternity brothers. He inspired me to go and to be a former city councilman of the city of Talladega. And I come by way of Huntsville. Would not have missed this.
I'm Ken Nove. I'm in the department here. I teach the Civil War era.
My name is Kate Justino, and I'm a professor here in the history department, and I teach modern Central and Eastern European history.
I'm Eden McLean. I'm an associate professor here, and I also teach modern Europe, the fascism and racism and all kinds of fun things like that.
I'm Christopher Ferguson. I'm also an associate professor of modern European history. I study 19th century Britain.
I'm Kay Craig. I'm an assistant professor here in the department and I teach medieval history.
I'm Dave Lusko. I'm a professor here in the department. I teach history of technology and also department chair.
Hi, I'm Kelly Kennington. I'm an associate professor here in the department. I teach the antebellum South, slavery in the antebellum South.
I'm Charles Israel. I'm on faculty here in work on history of the New South, history of American religion, and I'm the associate dean for academics in the College of Liberal Arts.
I'm George Flowers. I'm with the graduate school.
Stephanie Womack. I'm a graduate student.
I'm Adam Jortner. I'm a professor here. I teach history of U.S. religion.
Guy Emerson Mount. I am assistant professor here. I work on African American history.
Shanette Ashley. I'm a friend of Mr. Franklin.
James Phillips, friend of Mr. Franklin's as well.
And that is Yelena Phillips. She's a friend of Mr. Franklin, who is also one of my mentors.
Well, thank you all for joining us here today. This thesis defense is going to be sort of an open conversation, among friends, and I'm going to share Mr. Franklin's experiences and his efforts to write this thesis and to get it approved by our department over the years. And so I welcome anyone as we get going. It's a little different than maybe some thesis defenses, but if you want to join the conversation, please welcome you to do so. So to kind of kick things off, I guess, Harold, I've been around you enough the last couple of months to know some of these things. I'm kind of curious, how did you end up writing a thesis about Alabama State College?
Well, I wanted to write my thesis on the civil rights struggle. The professors here at Auburn at that time told me that it was too controversial. Go write on the history of Alabama State College. And I told them I really didn't want to because I still want to write on the civil rights struggle. But they would not allow me to do it, so I had no choice. So that's why I ended up writing on the history of Alabama State College.
When you were thinking about writing your civil rights history, what were you thinking there? What might that have looked like?
I don't know what I was doing. I was trying to, like I guess other people during that particular period, all of the civil rights struggle to me was important. And as a result, I wanted to write the history of it as much as I could, because to me, I was a part of it. And I guess that's another thing that helped too. And then I can see what other people are doing and not what I'm reading about, for instance, the history of Alabama State College. And so I decided I wanted to to get involved in it and become a part of it. But the reason I ended up, and really I hadn't planned to come to Auburn, that wasn't a part of my plan. My plan was to go to the University of Alabama Law School, because I was a Thurgood Marshall, the first African American appointed to the United States Supreme Court, was my idol. And he was a guy who won like something like 29 or 28 out of 31 cases before the United States Supreme Court. So I'm going to be another Thurgood Marshall. But I went and took the law school admission test. My scores weren't high enough, they said, to come to Alabama. And that dropped me, and then one lawyer said, well, why don't you go to Auburn? I said, that's the last school in the world I ever want to go to. Because when I was growing up, you'd notice for agriculture, that was all it was noted for. And when Dad would have me go out in the garden and dig a plant, I'd hate it. I don't know why I hated it. In those days, people grew their little gardens and all that, but I don't know why they hated it. And so when they say go to Auburn, look at Auburn, no, that's an agricultural school. And I don't like agriculture. You got to work in agriculture too hard. But anyway, I'm trying to get graduate school. I graduated now, like I said, Alabama State College went on. So I want to continue my education, but really I want to be a lawyer, as I said. And I had to pop my head trying to get to the University of Alabama, because my attitude was, I'm an Alabamian. I should be able to go to school in my state, in state-supported institutions. Now, private school, that's up to you whether you want to accept me or not. But private public schools are part of me. I pay taxes to support you. So why can't you support me? That's my philosophy. But anyway, when I wanted to go to the University of Alabama Law School, one of my advisors told me, one of the lawyers told me that my school wasn't high enough to challenge Alabama, and I told him I didn't think the white kids' schools were higher than mine. But anyway, in those days, they wanted us to be perfect. High school you could make 100, 99 and a half wouldn't do. They wanted 100. And anyway, so I decided I still want to go to school. And so we talked and talked. I said, why don't you go to Auburn? And Auburn didn't appeal to me at that time because it was an agricultural college. And as I told you, that Daddy would have me to grow a garden, and I hated it. To grow flowers, I hated flowers. I don't know why. I don't know. I just didn't like it. I guess dig the dirt. And but anyway, we talked about it. So I talked to my wife about it. And so she said, "Well, why don't you be able to try anyway?" And to make a long story short, I guess I did. And Auburn turned me down, of course. And so we kept going back and forth, back and forth. And all of a sudden, they didn't turn me down because I was black. They turned me down because Alabama State College wasn't accredited at the time. And somebody told me, said that the reason that Alabama State wasn't accredited, and this is a white guy telling me this, was because the legislature would not adequately fund Alabama State College and Alabama A&M College as they were doing for the white schools. And I can't remember, I used to remember who it was, but I forgot it now. And so I said, well, look, I went to Alabama State, it's unaccredited. I'm still going to stay in the state of Alabama and get my education. And like I said, I couldn't get in the University of Alabama because when they said my schools weren't high enough for the LSAT schools. So I came to Auburn, applied to Auburn, and then of course they turned me down, as you know. And so just so happened, I was living in Montgomery at the time. After I graduated from Alabama State College in '62, the young lady I met who became my wife and I got married, and we stayed in Montgomery. And so I was trying to go to graduate school, but I wanted to also look after my wife. You know how you always first get married. We know how we are right there. And you want to spend all the time you can with them as we get older. We don't care. ended up wanting to come to Auburn. Because like I said, this is the last school I ever wanted to go to. For some reason, Auburn never appealed to me. Just like I was born and reared in Talladega. And I had a chance to go to Talladega. It never appealed to me. So that's why I ended up at Alabama State. And I guess part of the thing, you want to get away from home every now and then, you know. That's part of it. You're tired of life there. And as a result, I went to Alabama State and graduated with honors. And talked about coming to Auburn. And I said, well, I'll make an application. Because after, like I said, Alabama turned me down for law school. And like I said, but this is the last school I ever want to go to. And in Alabama, and I felt I was, you know, this is part of my time. I have just as much right to go to a school that's supported by the state funds as anybody else. And I came to make a long story short, of course, we went to court, and I won the case against Auburn. And then I turned around and asked for a room on campus. They turned me down. I had to go back into court. And I won that case against Auburn. And they gave me they said they didn't have any room at first for me, and then I put a whole wing of a dormitory by myself. And I was the only student with the key to the outside doors, well, to the inside doors. And so I ended up January 4th, 1964, and I walked on this campus. And stayed out here and did what I could. And did pretty good. I wasn't the smartest student, I'm not gonna lie to you. I wasn't all A's now, all B's. But because I had to adjust to racism, which I was not accustomed, that's one of the reasons. Part of it is I was not a history major at Alabama State College. I was a political science major. My ambition was to become a lawyer. So the pre-law courses. And so a lot of the history stuff I didn't take in college. And when I came here, when I sued to get in Auburn, I was hoping that I would get some courses that I really enjoyed. And not really, but to make a long story short, one of the problems I had was the faculty here was almost like reading all the stuff all the time. And that kind of bored me. You know, to me, you read at night, making notes and stuff, and then the next day you use your notes for getting through. And that turned me off to a certain degree, but at that time, of course, we needed somebody to desegregate Auburn, and I'd have to be a person that felt qualified to do so. And you also know the stuff I had to take it to court in one case again, like I said, in one case to get me in the rooms, I had to take it back to court to get a room, ended up in the wing of a dormitory by myself. And 3 stories tall, incidentally. And but I was pretty much alone anyway during my lifetime, so that didn't bother me. And then, of course, we went to class, and that's what the problems were. One of the things that I had to tolerate was the word Negro, for Negro. And I wanted to tell the professors about it, but I knew if I had, they would sit out, counted to them, and probably kick me out of school. And so I had to, adjust myself to that racism. And in fact, out of all the teachers I had, only had one teacher could pronounce the word Negro. Only one. And in those days, that was a word rather than black. That was a word in those days. And so I had to tolerate with Negro this and Negro that and Negro that. So I told my lawyer, Fred Gray, that I was going to leave Auburn because I was about to lose my cool. I would cut somebody out. And Fred told me to stay there for a couple other calls. And then 6 months after I was there, 2 other black kids came. But anyway, back to me. When I did all right in my classwork, now I wasn't the greatest student, because I do have a couple of C's, I think, somewhere. But when it got to my thesis, I wanted to write on the civil rights struggle. And the reason I wanted to write on it was not only because of the significance, because I knew I could make a lot of money off those books at that time. And everybody wanted to read them. Yeah, and then the professor told me, no, it's too controversial. You'll write on the history of Alabama State College. And Lord knows, even though I graduated from there, I'm not interested in writing on the history of Alabama State College. And so I tried my best to talk them out of it. They wouldn't listen to me, and so I ended up writing on the history of Alabama State College. And it wasn't as challenging. It was controversial because of the way African Americans were treated by Southern whites in those days. And for those of you who might know anything about Alabama State College, you know, one time it was in Selma, Alabama. White folks ran out of Selma and ended up in Montgomery, and they had a lot of controversy because a lot of the towns where Alabama State was supposed to at least consider moving school to, a lot of the whites said no, they didn't want us there. And somehow we ended up in Montgomery, and even though the people, the whites in Montgomery didn't want it there. But I think the reason that it ended up there was because the legislature was there. And they felt that the legislature could control the university of the college if anything went wrong with, along with the police department. So, and with all that, after that controversy, Alabama State College moved to Montgomery. And another thing too was that a number of cities had pointed out emphatically they did not want a black school in their town, because Montgomery wasn't the only place it was being considered by Alabama State. But, Troy State, Troy was one of the places that was being considered. And of course, you know, Troy State was there. And so they said, no, we want the white schools here, but we don't want any black schools here. And you know what happened? In Marion, Alabama, where you had what the white school, I can't remember the name of the white school there at the time, but Alabama State was located there. And remember, Alabama State got run out of Marion. There wasn't some stuff, racial stuff they got into it, and so they closed Alabama State down and said, look, you'll move out of Marion, and to any city the white folks will allow you to move to. And they went through a lot of controversy because a number of cities they applied to turn them down. And eventually, Montgomery even turned them down. But somehow the legislature, along with the black system, managed to overcome. And they got a chance to go there, you know, to put the school there in Montgomery. But and another thing too is, in Marion, one of the problems with Marion was that they had a little wall between the white schools and Alabama, the white school and Alabama State. And that was one of the reasons they wanted the school at Alabama State out from down there. The white kids got into it. And so, to make a long story short, we ended up in a number of cities were considered. But as you know, the story, we ended up in Montgomery, Alabama. And a number of whites didn't want it in Montgomery either. But I understand that the president told the students, you all be nice and quiet so there'll be no controversy. So the whites will understand and will like you know, the university to be here. And as far as I know, most of the state away from trouble and out of trouble. And as a result of that, that's why Montgomery is here. But there was a lot of opposition. And there's so many counties in Alabama that didn't want a black school there. And even though they called it a college, it was not a college, it wasn't anything but a high school. But we did have University of Alabama, which was a college. And eventually Auburn, which was a college. But at that time, the only college in African American in Alabama was Talladega College. If you want to go to a 4-year school, you went there and go to Talladega College. Because in the state schools, they were called normal schools. You know, that means nothing really. You know, as a result, the state of Alabama, like I said, once they left Marion, after they got kicked out of Marion, Alabama State wanted to move to a number of cities, and the whites said no, they didn't want them there. And eventually, we ended up in Montgomery. because the number of whites didn't want it in Montgomery either. But I said, okay, we'll put it here. And one of the reasons that I think is that in Marion, where Alabama State was located, was the fight between some black and white kids started the problem. And as a result of it, that was it. And so they moved the school about. In fact, they wanted to move to a number of cities. The White Citizen Council said no. They would not move a black school in our town. And as a result of it, eventually, you know, the whites in Montgomery didn't want it there. Somehow, the legislature put Montgomery there, Alabama State in Montgomery. And also, you have to take consideration, the state didn't appropriate much funding for Alabama State. Now, we talk about Alabama State College, Alabama State College. There wasn't anything but a high school. But you had the University of Alabama, and eventually, Auburn became a state-supported institution. These were schools of higher learning, but not the black schools. The only black school that giving you these 4 years of education was Talladega College. And Boston Stillman College was learning the private schools. The state of Alabama did not appropriate adequate funding for black schools, they do it for white schools. And that's why the schools are like they are today. If you look at this, so for example, look at the amount of profit that Alabama and Auburn had compared to Alabama State and A&M. See, that visibility, you can tell that. And then I don't have to tell you, look at that budget. You know that, you can imagine that, considering the number of programs that the white schools have, that black schools don't have. So, but that was a part of the racism that existed during that period. And as a result of it, we had to take what the legislature appropriated us because we did not have enough black folks in the legislature to defend us. You might have had one or two coming out of Reconstruction. And as a result of that, we had no power. That's the bottom line. And that's why the legislature did what they wanted to do. That's why the legislature appropriated very few dollars for us compared to Auburn, Alabama. And also, that's what the legislature did in terms of property. We have how many acres that Alabama State have compared to the University of Alabama. A&M have compared to Auburn. It's ridiculous. But that's part of the problem, the racism that existed during that period. And then another thing too is that if those of you who ever read the history of Alabama State know there was a little fight between the white students and black students in Marion, Alabama. And that was a problem that white used against us. They said that one of the black kids cut a white kid. And so that was one reason they wanted out of Marion. And then the first one thing led to another. And then when the state of Alabama decided they would do it, they went from city to city, and all the whites were saying, no, we don't want it here. No, we don't want it here. No, we got this white school here, so we don't want that school there. And eventually, as you know, it ended up in Montgomery. And that has been ever since. But it wasn't acceptable at the time in Montgomery. It just that there was no choice. Either that, the state of Alabama would not have created a state-supported institute for African Americans. And as a result, you know, the rest is pretty much history now. That Alabama State ran into a number of problems, moved in because a number of whites did not want it in Montgomery. And then, as I told you earlier, they did not want it in a number of cities that had been considered. And Montgomery was no different. But the legislature allowed it to move to Montgomery. And then, of course, you know, the rest of the history's been there ever since. And, but it has been some problems, as you know, dealing with them. But to me, the major thought was that the state of Alabama did not adequately fund the two historically black state-supported institutions they were for whites. And that is one of the reasons that the schools themselves was not measured up in terms of academic excellence because the legislature would not adequately fund those schools. In other words, we got the leaves off the tree, not the fruit. And we had to do what we could. And as a result, the presidents had to go out and really, I call it hustling money from people to help support the lack of state economics, and which, of course, was successful enough that you ended up with still with two historically black state colleges. That's Alabama State and Alabama A&M, State in Montgomery and A&M in Huntsville. But the problems we went through were horrific in terms of economics, and that's what you need for school. I don't care what school it is. One thing that the administration does is what? Want you to pay some, give them some money. And of course, African Americans did not have that kind of money to give because we just come out of slavery. So we didn't have a lot of money to contribute to our schools like the whites did. And of course, the whites, of course, did not want to contribute. In some instances, they didn't want to contribute any money because they didn't want the black kids to have in the black schools. Thanks to, like I said, private schools like Talladega College, which encouraged and gave them the knowledge to see what we could accomplish. Because a number of whites didn't believe that going to college, black kids going to college would help. They would not succeed. And I think that's one of the reasons that private schools like Talladega College helped make a point. Because those kids graduated and they became doctors and lawyers and old folks say Indian chiefs. And so then the state of Alabama, I guess, say, well, we're going to have to make some changes. And of course, eventually they came up with the four-year college, Alabama State and Alabama A&M. But if you also look at it in terms of racism too, look at the number of state-supported white institutions compared to black. You only had two at that time. Now, you know, it really doesn't matter because they desegregated now, so it really doesn't matter. But you only had two black schools and about 7, 8, I think it might be 9 white schools, state-supported institutions. They started off as private schools, but then the way the state took over, they turned themselves over to the state, and they became like Marian Institute, all these schools like that. You know, but in a way, we overcame, and that's the bottom line, because we had schools like Talladega College that we could go to if things didn't work out in the state schools, and that's one of the reasons I think that Talladega College became so successful, because it had the adequate funding to support its students, and its students would succeed, and they succeeded to the top. Well, not only graduated from a liberal arts school, which prepare you for graduate or professional courses, but they were successful in turning out guys ended up in law, medicine, et cetera, et cetera. In fact, I had a great uncle whom I lived with my first 3 years in college. Y'all can tell you about Dr. Elijah Henry Jones I, who graduated from Talladega College. And just to tell you the truth, that he couldn't get along with anybody in the family. So I think my aunt asked me would I live with him, and I did my first 3 years in college. And he was a trip. But thank goodness that he graduated from Talladega College, went to the University of West Tennessee Medical School at that time, and became one of the best doctors known in Talladega. So you had those schools that prepared a number of their kids for success. And talk about Talladega just happened to be one of them. And I talk about that because I guess my family went to school there, and I ended up teaching there, and that's why I retired from. So you had so many other schools who also contributed immensely to the black population, and also you had a number of white philanthropists would contribute to the black schools to help them keep enough economics to operate the schools successfully. Rockefellers and on down the line, Rosenwalds and all those people. And that's another reasons that the black schools succeeded. Because you know itself that schools like Talladega, Tuskegee, the private schools, their kids did not have adequate funding. Their parents did not have adequate funding to help. So they had to have money to keep their school operating. And so a lot of the philanthropists contributed immensely to the black private schools. And that's why they're so successful. Okay,
I'm sure we have plenty of questions for you.
okay, do you have any questions? Okay.
Well, I have one, Mr. Franklin. You say that we know you integrated Auburn. What was in your background that Mr. Gray felt that you would be the one chosen to come down here and integrate compared to other people who were out there? Why did he choose you?
Well, what happened was, let me think now, because, okay. When I talked to Gray, he said, told me, he said, look, he said, Harold, I want to go to Alabama Law School. And he had to have 5 lawyers, as I told you, who've been practicing the state for 5 years to verify your character. So he said, why don't you go to Auburn? I said, excuse me, President, I said, hell, Fred. It's the last school hell want to go to. And so he said, look, why don't you go, man? We need somebody to say. And I said, well, I went and talked to my wife about it. And she said, go ahead if you want to do it, you go ahead. And of course, I went on and applied to Auburn, and they turned me down. And they said they didn't turn me down because I was black. They turned me down because Alabama State College wasn't accredited. But the state superintendent of education, I think, said also medical testified that the reason that Alabama State College and Alabama A&M College was not accredited was because the legislature would not adequately fund those 2 black schools that they do for the white schools. And so when he testified that, and Judge Johnson, who was a federal judge at that time, my lawyer looked at me and I knew then I could read one application. But, so, excuse me. The major problem has been the lack of funding. I don't care what you say. That's been the problem. If A&M and state had been financed as much as Auburn and Alabama, those schools would have been something else. In terms of buildings alone. I know that a lot of whites contribute money to the schools, but you had access